Welcome to being your own CEO. This is a success circle intended especially for solopreneurs. And this morning we're going to talk about Google no follow links. So we'll be right back after this. Well, here we are in our success circle again this morning, this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you are. And as usual, I will take a few minutes to introduce the members of the panel this morning. And today I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I usually go alphabetically. So I'll do it alphabetically, but from the bottom end this time. So that means I have to introduce myself first. So I'm in British Columbia, and I coach retirees who want to create an online business. And then we have Vivek Rao, and he's in the UK, and he simplifies life and business by unifying different technologies and developing software. Good morning, Vivek. And then we have Paul, who is also in BC, and he helps startups turn ideas into action, profitable action. Good morning, Paul. And I'm just making sure that I'm not missing somebody. All right, so Javita is in India, Mumbai, and she teaches and promotes yoga and Reiki, both in person and online. Good morning, Javita. We don't see you, but we know that you're here. And let's see. I'm just checking to see who else is here. We have Fred Jones, who is also in BC today, and he facilitates leadership and community building for youth. And we have David Flannery, who is in Illinois, and he creates affordable websites for small businesses. And we have Alana Birmingham, who is in Ireland, and she supports businesses by creating and maintaining websites. And were you signaling something, David? I thought I saw you signaling something. No? Okay. So this morning we decided to talk about something that Alana, I think you brought it up a few weeks ago, where we were trying to determine, there was a sort of a new announcement, I believe, from YouTube, I guess, about no follow links. And we were trying to sort of make sense out of that. And we weren't sure exactly what all of that was going to mean. And I have to say that I did read through. There was a blog that came out that talked about no follow links, sponsored links, and UGC, whatever. UGC means user generated content. So we were, I think, Alana, you kind of wanted to know, what does that mean? Or is that are these going to have any impact on us? Was that what your main thinking for bringing that up was?
Yes, absolutely. Because it's just one of those weird things that you don't really understand why Google is making a big deal about it. So what's going on with that? If they're making a big deal about it, it must mean something. I guess. That was my logic.
Well, and so as I was reading through all of this, I mean, if they're making a big deal, it didn't seem to indicate that they were making a big deal. I saw, but I still was a bit kind of confused by it because, so, I mean, what are they? And why do we use them, or why are they being used, and what sort of impact are they going to have on our work? So from what I could understand was what they are is, if you have a post or a blog or a page, you designate it as a no follow, so that you're not giving Google juice to that particular link. That was my understanding of it. And there's certain things that you probably on your website that you probably don't want to be indexed. For example, your policy page. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to have those that indexed or followed. Um, and in one of the things that I listened to, it did say that automatically any links that are placed in comments are no follow links. David.
Just so you know, Jay has joined.
Oh,
I don't know if you knew that or not.
no, well, I was checking. But so it seems as though there are a couple of new ones. These new sponsored in UGC, but there didn't seem to be a everything that I saw didn't seem to think that they were going to make a big difference. So, but I mean, I'm not sure I'm clear about why we would want to use a new no follow link. So I don't know. Jay, do you have an opinion about why we should use them?
Yes, I do. So yeah, so basically the attribute no follow represents please don't pass any Google juice over to this
Yeah.
particular website that I'm leaving, right? So there's a fine balance. Think of your website as a pitcher of or a carafe of juice, pitcher of juice, and you're providing information that's inside this juice container to your audience, and we'll call that the cup.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you're giving information, you're pouring it in, metaphorically speaking, and now what you're doing is what a no follow attribute is, for example, let's say it's an orange juice with actual orange bits in it, like actual slices of orange. So if you were not to do no follow, what would happen is some of that orange, like the actual slices of orange, would drip into your cup, which is fine. But what would happen is that it would go plop, and then some of that information or juice would come out of the glass as a result of it kind of spilling over, right? So you also want to retain the orange, the actual orange, inside the jug so that you can continue to have that kind of positive experience with other glasses of juice, right? Kind of a weird metaphor, but in essence, you want to have that juice, and the actual oranges is the information that you're providing people.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make sure that that information is fresh, rich, and you don't want to be passing off too much of that Google juice, as I like to call it, to wherever you're kind of linking out to, right? So it basically retains your site or your post or page authority within your own site. Now, it's okay to kind of link out to, say, Wikipedia and stuff, but you're suggesting to the search engines that you don't need to carry the value of the information that resides on this site over into that other site.
Mm. So one of the things that I watched suggested that, for example, you wouldn't, like, if you had an affiliate link, that should probably be a no follow.
Yeah, because so now they're suggesting, as you'd mentioned earlier, the sponsored links, right? Mm-hmm. That's something that they're trying to get us to place that attribute in affiliate links or sponsored links, like ads and stuff like that, so that it actually would help their algorithm to determine what's good, what isn't good, who's ranking, who isn't ranking, who deserves to rank and who doesn't deserve to rank, right? But so it's kind of a volunteer system. It's like the bus system in Florence, Italy. You don't have to pay, it's voluntary, right? So it's completely voluntary. But if you get busted without the ticket, they kick you off.
So the item that I watched said that sponsored are those are about where money has changed hands,
or is about to, or trying to.
Yeah. And then the UGC, user generated content, would be something that you generated yourself. So would that be a link? Let's say a link that links back to something on your own site. Would that be would that be an example?
User-generated content is, from what I understood, was based on like comments versus you actually writing your own stuff.
Oh. Because one thing that I heard was that comments were automatically no follow.
Yeah, so they're trying to change the attribute to calling it user-generated content.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the
So,
same thing. It's just they're just changing the name of it.
hmm.
They're putting a new label to it.
So then the other piece is, so that's what they are. Why would we use them? Why do we use them?
Dave might have some insight. I saw his raise his
No,
hand.
I had a question.
Okay.
User comment, like a forum, would they still deem that as user content and that not?
Yeah. From my understanding, yes. So like a forum, exactly. So I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons why we don't see a lot of forum-based content inside of Google search, right? So other than Reddit, but I do see Reddit going down in search results.
So it's up to the person who creates the post or the page to determine which of these should be used.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was so the reason we would do it is to make it life easier for Google.
Pretty much. So if I can read what Google's officially said about what UGC. So REL equals UGC stands for user-generated content, and the UGC attribute value is recommended for links within user-generated content, such as comments and forum posts.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then the latest version of WordPress, it's going to be adding or introducing to add UGC attributes to links.
Oh, so that was going to be my next question, my next thing. Because I know that when you create a post, All-in-One SEO has a couple of places where you can say no index and no follow and no sitemap. So that would be the place that you would do no follow. So are you suggesting that there's somewhere else where you would find all of that?
I think WordPress core, so the actual software WordPress, is automatically adding that to, or sorry, changing the attribute from in comments from no follow to
I see.
Comments. Yeah. So we don't have to do anything in that aspect.
Okay. But what about
from what I understand? But I haven't fully read about it's WordPress 5.3.
Oh yes.
I got another question for you. You're talking about links being the like an affiliate link. Is it the actual link that they're going to put the no follow on, or is it the actual post you're going to put the no follow on?
Yeah, a great question. It's the actual link. So anything that goes, the hyperlink goes to the affiliate, with the affiliate link. So if it goes to Amazon, so when Google crawls it and it sees the hyperlink, href equals wherever it goes, and then inside that code, it's going to be rel equals in quotes no follow or sponsored.
So how do you do that? Like how do you decide? How do you select that?
Well, inside of WordPress, there is when you create a link inside WordPress, there's a little cog right beside where you add the link. That kind of creates a little additional menu. It should reside in there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. You can also do a master setting inside of
general settings.
I don't know if it's in WordPress settings or if it's more all-in-one SEO. I think it's all. I know an all-in-one SEO has that setting, but
yeah, it does.
I'd imagine that the core settings will change relatively soon, especially with seeing how WordPress is trying to abide by Google's new, we'll call them suggestions, to do things. I think that since they're already putting in the user generated content attribute, I would imagine that they're going to be, doing additional things similar to that.
So, and as I recall, Alana, we were, when this came up, we wanted to know, so how is this going to impact our, our standing within Google? Like if we use it or we don't use it?
Yeah, it sounds like we don't have to do anything. That it's basically Google saying this is the new rules and don't worry about it. We've got it covered, kind of thing. So between WordPress and Google, it doesn't sound like there's anything we really need to do about it. Like even in the settings, like I think you were talking about, Jay, with the links, that there's a little cog that drop down allows you to open that link in a new window. That's one of the options there. I can't remember the other options, but that one sticks out in my mind. So it sounds like they're going to put in another option there. So maybe that's where we would do something there.
I don't even know if they're going to actually add it in there. I think it might just be automated, where it just says all links going away are no follow. Right, because there's plenty of plugins that do that for us automatically, so those plugins are no longer going to be needed.
Well, would you, I got two questions. Number one, are there links that you do want them to follow, like Wikipedia, or if it's a backlink? If you're, let's say you've got, I've got a real estate site and I've got a home inspector and I'm linking to him and he's linking back to me. You'd want that to be followed, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so reciprocal links are ideal. Yeah, so to have, to be honest with you, I've never taken the extra effort to no follow a link in my site, in any of my sites. And I find that, but if it automatically starts to happen as a result of WordPress, fine. That's obviously what Google wants, so I'm cool with it, right? The whole thing is when Google makes these changes, the world just all of a sudden crumbles and everyone runs for the hills and it's like, oh my God, my site's gonna die and this and that. And, it's like, no, it's not gonna happen. Right? So just roll with the flow. Let that river. That's the thing is your site is kind of like a river, right? So your river goes down, but if the banks of the river, like extra effort of adding no follow and this and that, start to crumble, then the flow of traffic is going to it's not going to be, the flow is not going to be, as good as the banks kind of fall, start to crumble and stuff. So, you want to have that consistent flow of traffic. So, there's going to be little offshoots, little streams that come out of a river, right? And that's okay, because that's nature, right? So nature has a way of making these little things. Alana.
Yeah, is this going to have any impact on backlinks? Because backlinks gives our sites a certain amount of authority. So is this going to have any effect on that?
Not at all, because they still see the backlink. They still count the backlinks. Like, oh, okay, so Alana has 100 backlinks site-wide, meaning all of her, her entire site has about 100 backlinks. 40 of those are no follow. 60 of them are do follow, right? Which is the opposite of no follow. So it's still, basically your site is saying, please don't pass my Google Juice to those sites, but still recognize that they're backlinks, right? Well, those are outgoing links for you, but imagine just kind of the reverse, right?
So the idea of what about a link back to another page or something else on your own website? Would you want that Google Juice to happen?
Yeah, great question. So because it's an internal link, your system, your site automatically knows that it's an internal link because it resides on the same domain name. Thus, there would be no follow attribute placed on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't need to, if it's a no follow, if there is no no follow attribute, it doesn't mean you have to place the do follow attribute. You don't need to do that.
So what you're suggesting is don't do anything.
Just sit back and continue to create your content and rock it.
David.
Arthur Moorhead is asking a question in chat. Then why has the flow of traffic been dramatically changed for small business?
Because Google has dramatically changed their algorithm. They've made some massive updates, and as a result of that, there's collateral damage from legitimate sites. Unfortunately, but it's a very subjective question, because maybe that small business site has a bunch of like no follow attributes, or maybe they've made the effort to create those no follow attributes and stuff like that. Maybe they have spammy backlinks pointing to it. Maybe they don't have any backlinks pointing to it. So one of the best things to do is to hire to get an SEO, hire an SEO, and determine why. Because if your site had traffic and been getting leads, and then either all of the sudden didn't, or it's slowly declining, there's obviously a reason why. So you need to determine that. So you can try to learn it yourself, or you can hire someone to do what's called a site audit, and they'd be able to pop it into some software and determine what the issue is, and then they can give you a report, at which point then you can take that report and try to fix it yourself, or determine what it would cost to have it fixed. So like SEOs are very much like mechanics. They can really help your site in terms of increasing the traffic and making sure everything is running smoothly.
Right. SEOs like Jay. So we have about 5 more minutes. Do we have any other questions or comments around the use of no follow links? What we should do, what we shouldn't do, what impacts?
I say no follow, no worry.
No follow, no worry.
So I think Bob Marley said that. I think he started that whole movement, didn't he?
Yeah, no worry. So basically what it sounds like is this whole blog that went out, has been traveling around the internet, is kind of like a tempest in the teapot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, and there is, I see another comment by Arthur. The average small business cannot afford the expense of an SEO.
Wrong. I'm going to say wrong, because that is a myth, an absolute myth. Can the average car owner can afford to fix their thing. You can get a site audit for $99. You can get a report for $99, for $100, and that report will tell you what's wrong with your site. So I get that all the time. And I actually, what's funny is my webinar last week. Arthur, I teach internet marketing in a website called Wealthy Affiliate, and the webinar was working with running a local marketing business, and there's a huge myth with people believing or thinking that people are just, small business owners are inherently scared of SEOs because people think that it costs thousands upon thousands of dollars to fix a site. Now, if you were Cisco, or if you were IBM, or if you were a large franchise corporation that wants to work with me, yeah, then it's going to be a lot more expensive. But the cost is relative to the volume of traffic and the size of the business and how competitive, right? So if you're like an HVAC contractor that lives in a smaller township, then that cost to actually work with that client is going to be substantially less than, say, a DUI lawyer in Beverly Hills, right, where it's far more competitive. So yeah, there are legitimate site audits that you can have done inside, like in the internet, and you can get them done for like $100, $100, $200, right?
And then once you've got the report, then maybe you could do make some of the corrections yourself.
Precisely. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is,
But I mean, it's a very valid concern. And, I've always tried to douse those flames with the blanket of truth. So,
okay. So
Metaphorically speaking.
yeah, I'm on fire today, aren't I?
So we are close to the bottom of the hour. Any other comments or questions from the panel members?
Arthur has put another post up. He says, I used to get 7 to 10 referrals a week, but none now.
Wow.
What's Arthur's business, and where is it located? See if we can figure that out in a moment here, in 1 or 2 minutes.
I think his business is painting something, some sort of painting. Am I correct, Arthur? We probably have to. There's probably a delay there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if we have covered all of our questions and our worries, I think I will draw this to a close by reminding everyone that it's important to do what you love with passion, and that we shall see you again next week. Same time, same place. So thank you for joining me.